Hey, it's Tina Forsyth here of AutomateYourGrowth.com. So you are ready to start documenting some processes. Woohoo! Looking to create that SOP guide. All right, it's probably not the most exciting thing in the world. Believe me, you guys, I get it. Necessary, important, but not exciting. I totally get that. And so I wanted to share with you 3 simple steps or tips, if you will, to make the process of documenting your processes as simple and easy as possible. Tip number 1 is when. When do you do this? When do you get started? What is the timing? How long is this going to take, right? The key thing to documenting processes is to not look at it as one giant project. You know, if you're just getting started, you don't have anything documented yet, it can be really easy to get overwhelmed and to kind of see this behemoth mountain of work to do and be like, oh my gosh, I gotta climb this mountain kind of thing, right? Do not do that. It'll overwhelm you, right? And that's honestly not the best way to approach it anyhow. It can't be a stop everything else, let's just get this done project. You want to kind of weave it into your week. You want to weave it into the work that's going on already, right? So I want to say in general, people ask me quite often, how long should it take to do this? It's going to be at least 3 to 6 months to probably get a solid foundation of your processes in place, right? And you want to aim to have maybe 2 or 3 processes a week completed, which leads me to the next question, to step number 2, is deciding who is going to document the processes. So the best person to document the process is the person who knows how to do the work. If that's you, then it's going to be you. If it's someone else on your team, a virtual assistant or a web designer or an OBM or whoever that might be, it's going to be them, right? Now, it may not be the most exciting work in the world to do. Believe me, I totally get and understand that. But at the same time, as long as the things remain in your head or in someone else's head, then nobody else is going to be able to do the work, right? As long as it's in your head, all the instructions, steps, etc., you will always have to do the work. So I want you to embrace from the perspective of, you know, all right, I got to get this stuff out of my head or else I'm always going to have to do it. It's always going to be on my shoulders, right? And step number 3 is to look at the format, which I want to talk about here too, because this can lend itself to making this as easy as possible for you and others on your team, right? What format are your processes going to be in? You may have checklists, you may have them written, you may have videos. You know, you're going to want to consider what the best format is from a couple of perspectives. What's the easiest format to create? And what's going to be the easiest format to consume? So what I highly recommend here, for example, some people like to do videos, which I think is great, right? If it's instructions on how to use a certain software, or click here, click there, or whatever that is, that can be a really great way to start to actually document a process. But I want to add a second piece to that, right? Because videos are quite often relatively easy to create. They're not always that easy to consume. If you do create a video, have someone on your team go ahead and create a checklist, a written set of steps to go from that, right? Because the person who needs to know how to take that process and implement it, they should be able to go back relatively quickly and easily and find the steps and such that they need along the way, versus trying to go back and creating a video and all of that other kind of fun stuff, right? So if you or anyone on the team gets stuck in the process of creating processes, another kind of bonus tip, if you will, that I want to recommend is just go through and train someone how to do it. Maybe you hop on the phone with a virtual assistant. Maybe you hop on the phone with your online business manager. Maybe your OBM hops on the phone with a VA or whoever, right? And you talk through. You actually train someone on how to do this process for you. While you're training them, they write out the steps. They write out all the pieces. They make a checklist. They do whatever needs to happen to get this information out of the head and into a documented format so that other people can do the work, right? Once it's out of your head, once it's out of the head and others can do the work, then you know you've done your job. And it doesn't have to be as painful as it sounds. Again, you're looking at least 3 to 6 months to really get a solid foundation going. Aim for maybe 2 or 3 a week and just create them as you go. Next time you do the work is when you document it. And the beauty of that is you'll find that this becomes a little addictive, quite honestly, because once you get to the place where you've documented something and you can pass it on to someone else to do for you, woohoo! That's a hallelujah moment, believe me. So again, 3 very simple tips and tricks. You know, timing wise, do it as you go. Don't turn it into a mountain. Who needs to do the documenting? The person who knows how to do the work. That's number 2. And what is the best format? You know, video can be great and so on, but ultimately a written checklist type format that's easy to follow and use is going to be your best option there. So until next time we meet again, it's Tina Forsyth here. Take care. Bye now.